Hello, today I'm going to make this video on request of one of my friends. She has asked me why she's still getting the legs outside when she's walking. That means she's having a circumductory gait. So I've seen her video on the channel, on our social media channel, and what I have noticed is that she's walking, if this side is her weaker side, she's walking with her hand held in this position and leg coming out. So my friend, I would tell you something, that before I go into some exercises, I can't tell you the whole range of exercises in this short video because there's so much to do, but I need to explain you what is neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is, say if this is your brain and this part of the brain is where you had the stroke. What happens? The brain cells in that part dies, and the cells around the brain cells around it starts to learn what was the job of this part was. So the brain cells around that part of the stroke relearns. That is called neuroplasticity. Now that learning process is difficult for the brain because those cells really doesn't know exactly how to do things, so it tries to figure out how to do things, and in the process sometimes it gets things a bit wrong, and once it has learned that process, then you have to rewire those nerve connections through exercises to get it learned the right way. So your brain has learned that when you're walking, your hand comes up, your leg goes out. So there are a few things that I'm going to tell you. Perhaps you need to understand first why this is happening. Now, if your arm is in this position, I would say that you got some spasticity, although I haven't tested you practically. And if you have got spasticity, your this pecs muscles will be tight. So I would say that to get your gait pattern to the normal way of walking, where we walk like this, that is called heel to toe gait instead of the circumductory gait. First of all, unless you dissociate your hand with your leg, it gets very difficult. So that means if your hand and leg are connected after stroke, your brain knows when you are going to walk, your hand should come up. That's one of the first thing I would say will be a starting point. Physios and OTs, occupational therapists around the world, make this mistake. They don't teach people. So first thing I would say is that do some stretches of the hand so that you can start reducing that tightness. And most probably your ankle, I've also noticed your wrist is bent inwards. Try to gently bend it other way. And finally, this is my creation. Try to massage your pecs, particularly the part of the pecs that connects to the humerus, that tendon and that bit just there. Try to massage it. That will reduce the tension in the hand. Next, going to your leg. I noticed your leg is on the outside, so you got curl toes and you got your ankle is inverted. So when you walk, your leg goes like that. So that means your muscles inwards are short and the outward muscles are stretched. So to deal with that, first thing I would suggest is that if you start placing your foot on a roller like this, to change the inversion, to bring it to the neutral, try to put weight through that. And just standing on that is the starting point. Yeah. And also, if you can, because your muscles have become shorter inside. Yeah, so if you can practice bringing the knee in to bring the foot into the normal position. Other thing I would suggest is that you stretch your toes with your unaffected arm so that your toes don't remain curled up. Go from lots of stretches. The other reason why your leg is going sideways, because your hip muscles are weak and most probably your core muscles are weak as well. So your body cannot bend the hips, sorry, and bend the knee at the same time, because normally that's the position we need to do. Because by bending the hip and bending the knee, we lift our feet to clear the ground, and that's how we land when we walk. But because your leg cannot clear the ground because of those weakness, first thing it does, it takes it outway, and that's how your brain has learned. So try to teach your brain, number one, in standing, to bend the hip, flex the hip, and also in standing you can practice bending the knee. You can also do this lying. I've got some videos, but you can start with this and then practice placing your heel forward instead of going like this. In standing, placing that. So you start with this, and while you are doing, if you walk long distances, unfortunately that circumductory gait will return. So for this purpose, if you want to rectify your gait pattern, try to keep your hand down, put some weights around your wrist so that it stays down, and then practice heel to toe in standing. I'm not talking about walking yet. That way you are starting to dissociate your hand with leg. Try this. Most probably, looking at your video, you need to do this 2-3 months to see some changes. And once you see some changes, please get in touch with me and I will talk about the next stages. Thanks for watching my video.